Hey everybody, so today we're going to go over the installation for the fuel pump hanger, the Loofah Racing fuel pump hanger. These hangers currently are set up perfectly for a Walbro 450 or Walbro 525 Hellcat pump. We have the ability to adjust them for any smaller pumps like the 255 or the AEM 340, but for now we're only going to support the 450 and 525 pumps. So the way this comes is you'll receive this fully assembled. The only thing that will not come up physically on the pump itself, it'll come in the bag, is going to be the actual bulkhead bracket here, or the bulkhead fitting. We want you to assemble this in case you don't want to use that type of fitting, or maybe you want to use something else. We'll leave it up to the customer to make that decision. So it's your responsibility to put that on if you want to use it. It's not a requirement. All right. The other thing that comes in the bag are brand new fuel pump hat bolts. The factory ones are usually rusty and nasty. Highly recommend chasing the threads out before trying to install these. If you feel like it's super tight, that's probably because there is rust or junk in the threads. So you'll want to chase those out, especially with these being very old cars now. That's highly recommended. The other thing that you'll receive in the package is this spacer, and we'll review how this works and what that does in just a second. So, one great thing about these pumps is they come with 6AN adapters. So these are full 8AN fittings that come down to exactly what you need inside your tank, but then they come with a 6AN adapter as well. So if you don't want to use 8AN fittings or lines for your system, you can do 6AN. Or maybe you already have 6ANs and you just want something easy. Well, this is a drop-in opportunity, right? So anyways, let's review how everything installs. All right. So you take your seal, your factory seal. As you can see, this one is very worn out. I would recommend replacing this one. But just for installation's sake, what you'll do is you'll swing this down and it fits right over this lip here, okay? So with two hands, you'll kind of just work it around the lip there. Okay? And now it's installed. So from here, you would install your physical pump. Now this is a Walbro 450 as an example. I'm not actually installing it, but I'm going to show you. It sits almost perfectly on the base here. And as you can see, you will put the filter point closest to this little gap here on the back. And this lines up with this. And you'll put a 3/8 fuel rated hose just right here, and then put two clamps in. The kit does not come with the clamps or the hose, okay? Then you'll run your power wires going straight through that fitting or whatever fitting you decide you would like to use. Okay. And then you'll take your factory fuel level sensor, and you'll see that we have the same factory setup here. So just like the factory unit, you'll stick it in, you'll push it down, and then that is now installed and works just like factory. You'll run those wires, you'll cut the connector off, and extend those wires and run them through the bulkhead fitting as well. This is not required if you are not planning on running a fuel level gauge. All right, so just for ease of install here, we're just not going to install the pump and filter stuff, but all right. So now the actual install. Looking down, this is facing towards the front of the car. So you want the Loofah Racing symbol to face the passenger side. Okay, so the bulkhead fitting for the wires is in its closest position to its wiring, and these AN lines are nice and out of the way. If you want them angled, you can. This is just how I'm going to place it in this example. All right, so you get that nice and neat. You get your fitting sitting nice on that little edge there, and then you're going to come over here and you're going to take your spacer here. What the spacer does is it prevents you from over tightening the new bolts. If you over tighten them, there's nothing really wrong with that, but you're gonna bend things and the seal might be over pressured, and that causes issues long term, right? Your seal could go bad. So what this does is it helps space that out so that your seals have a proper seal torque spec, okay? So the way this sits on here, because this is only a spacer, we only really need 2 bolt holes, right? So these bolt holes are gonna be here and here, side by side more or less. So the length of the tank. So generally speaking, that is right there. Okay, so that's in place. And now all you're gonna do is you're gonna take that stock bracket that comes with the stock system and you're gonna install it. Now this little piece here, this little tab, this is gonna be closest to the L on the Loofah Racing. So that back far corner. So just so you know where the bolt alignment holes are, this is roughly where it goes. Just like that, okay? And then you're gonna take your bolts and you're gonna just start threading them on. And these are 8mm bolts. Just FYI, make things a little easier for everybody. That is the fitting you need. So you're gonna just put that in. And I recommend just doing some light installation of the bolts. Initially, just get kind of star pattern set up where you do across from each other. It helps if I'm not blocking the camera here, but in this case I just can't see the hole. There we go. All right, just nice and snug. In this example, I'm only going to do 4 just because we don't have to edit the video that much, right? So we're going to come in here. All right, I'm only going to do 4 in this example. So what you would normally do is star pattern. So you do across from each other, like so, standard engineering sample. What that does is it keeps even pressure on everything. So in this case, we're only going to do 4 bolts. I'm going to come over here, I'm going to hand tighten it to where it feels nice and tight, nice and snug, and then I'm going to go across like star pattern. I'm going to do the same thing. That feels really nice. Come across, star pattern. Feels good. Feels good. And then you would finish the other 4 bolts. And as an example, you'll come in here, nice and tight. You see that? Doesn't move at all. That's a very nice seal. Obviously with the additional, it would be even better. But that's when you're gonna come in and you're going to tighten this nut here, and as you can see, that'll tighten the silicone or rubber seal on the wires that you have coming through, and you're done. Just that easy.